What's going on, guys? Roger here. If you don't know who I am, I'm the new videographer for Team Kaliber. I've been hanging around them the last couple of weeks, and I actually just released a big project, or I say big project, of MOG Atlanta over on Justin's main channel. I'll actually leave a link down in the description for that. And a lot of you absolutely loved it and were curious to know a little bit more about me. So I figured, why not do a little Q&A so you guys can get to know me a little bit better, since you will be seeing me a lot more often. Let's hop in. So first question is actually coming from my friend Paradox, who's actually the homie. He actually does a lot of casting on the B stream for a lot of the events. He says, when will I see you again? Hopefully Dallas. Hopefully you get to go. I will most likely be there filming the TK guys, so I'm really excited. Be there. And the second question is coming from Zeppel Slays. He says, how does it feel being the newest member of the TK family? It's actually really awesome. And I actually want to use this question to touch on something. A lot of people in the comments of Kaz's vlogs, because whenever Justin used my cinematics in his vlogs, I actually went and read the comments to see, what people were saying about my footage and stuff like that. And a lot of people were saying that I was very quiet in his vlogs, in which I totally understand. But a lot of people have to realize that I've never met a lot of these people, and these guys have known each other for years at this point. It's a minimum of a year. I think Teddy's the newest member, and he's known, or no, Fuya's the newest member, and she's known them for over a year, and she's been living there for, over a month now. And I just dove in and was meeting a lot of these people for the first time. So it was a little intimidating going in, but you'll see me get way more comfortable over the next couple weeks. And I was actually getting really comfortable after after the first week. Once I actually got like a desk where I could sit there and set up and edit, that's when I started getting really comfortable and adjusting to the lifestyle that they live. So yeah, anyway, thanks for the question, man. And the next question is coming from Dread. He said, what is your least favorite part about traveling to different states/countries? Probably how expensive it is. Not necessarily like the hotels and the flights and all that kind of stuff, but eating out all the time. It's hard to stay on like a good diet. Not saying that I have a good diet now, but like how much money you spend going out to eat 2 to 3 times a day. And then also on top of that, usually everyone goes out to the bar before the event starts, and also the last night of the event. So going out and drinking all the time can get very, very expensive. So I'd probably say that's probably the worst part about traveling all the time. For France, there was a shit ton of stuff that happened when I went to France. I didn't have internet. I didn't have cell service. People were rude. It was expensive. The food was crap. The event didn't do that well. I had to delay my MLG Atlanta project because the internet sucked so much. And I got delayed 24 hours. I had a 35-hour flight, or like travel day home. So I ended up spending like 60 hours or something like that. Some ridiculous amount of time in planes and in airports. So France is its own shitstorm. But for the most part, it's expensive. Just going to events. So I'd probably say that's the worst part about going to events. Next question is coming from Andy Valdez. He says, what is your favorite ice cream flavor? I'm usually vanilla, but cookies and cream is pretty good. Neapolitan's really good. Actually, I'm gonna go with cookies and cream. That would probably be like if I went to like a Dairy Queen or something like that, or like a Big Spoon. I'm not sure if you guys know what Big Spoon is, or something like that. I would probably do like cookies and cream. Okay, so the next question is coming from Manuel. He says, how long are you planning on staying with TK? Okay, so if you mean TK as an organization, how long I plan to stay as their videographer, this is how I break it down. I am never happy if I'm never moving forward in my career. So like when I worked at GameStop, and when I was a GA, I constantly wanted to go up to be an SGA, and then I got up to be an SGA, and then I wanted to go up to an assistant manager, but then I realized it was going to be a dead-end job, and that's at that point where that job started getting very toxic for me, and I needed to get out. And luckily, I got to go straight from that into now being a part of TK, and it's going to be very similar with that. So as long as I have projects that are constantly pushing my limits, and I can constantly get better and better and better, I can work on more ambitious and larger projects, I plan on staying for the indefinite future. But if it gets to a point where I'm no longer happy creating, that it's at that point where I will reconsider where I'm at inside TK. And maybe, who knows, maybe I could actually go up in TK, as well as doing like videography. But that's all subject to how I'm feeling in the future and where I want to go for that. Anyway, thanks for the question, man. Next up, we have K. He says, what's your favorite part about being a part of TK? I love the CWL. Well, that's awesome. You love the CWL because I'm a huge esports fan as well. But my favorite part about being in TK and being at the house as well is that everyone in the team is constantly grinding and working, because I'm never around people unless I go to events that are constantly working and trying to go up in the esports scene. This is different because now I'm going to be living with a bunch of people that are constantly grinding and trying to push their content out and grow as esports personalities or just YouTube personalities or Twitch personalities. So that's probably my favorite part, is everyone's ambitious on like growing their own brand. Next up, we have Funlo, which actually shout out to you, Funlo. You were in my stream the last couple days, so you're the true homie. He says, what made you want to be a videographer? Ooh, that's actually a really good question. I am a huge esports fan. I originally was an editor. I never had a camera, and I didn't know anything about cameras when I bought this. I actually learned as I went on. I started out as an editor, and then when I got into esports, I started like seeing all these documentary style things pop up, like the Super Smash Brothers documentary, and then like these documentary series on YouTube, like Liquid Rebirth, TSM Legends, C9 Genesis, and then eventually Vision came out, produced by Davis, which that's really awesome as well. And then I started seeing that stuff start popping up, and I absolutely love doing that, as well as editing and filming, and like just kind of like I love documentaries that are like in history and everything like that. So I figured, why not try and combine my passions of like editing and being a part of like esports and like filmmaking. So that's basically where that came from. Next up, Alex says, how tall are you? I'm like 5'11", give or take a little bit. So I'm not super tall, but I'm definitely not like Teddy size. So yeah. Next up, we got Brado. He says, how often do you run into fans, and how are your encounters with them? I've never run into fans before. I had one person at an event a long time ago ask me for a picture, and that blew my mind, because at that point I was irrelevant. I still am irrelevant to a certain degree. But the first time I actually ran into fans was actually at MOG Atlanta recently, because they'd seen me in Justin's vlogs and everything like that. And I filmed, a couple other videos for some of the homies at the house. So people were coming up to me asking for signatures and all that kind of stuff. And I encourage you guys, if you guys see me and you actually want to come up and have a conversation with me, whether it's from a fan aspect, wanting like a photo or anything like that, or you just want to come up and have a conversation with me, about like games or like camera equipment or anything like that. I'm a huge tech computer nerd. So if anyone out there wants to come up and have like a conversation with me, definitely just come up. And I'm usually pretty approachable. I might have like a resting like kind of bitch face kind of vibe every once in a while, because I'm really not paying attention. But if you come up to me, I love having conversations with you guys. So definitely come on up. Next up, we have a question from Ohm. He says, what was the first camera you ever used? The first professional camera I ever bought and used for like events and cinematography and videography and everything is actually the one I'm still using to this day. It's a Samsung NX1. I absolutely love it. I want to upgrade to a Sony A7S Mark II, just because it's a little bit better in low light, or not a little bit, it's a lot better in low light. And a lot of what I do is in low light at events and around the house and stuff like that. So that would help me out a lot. So I'm actually saving up for that. But yeah, the Samsung NX1 is the one I'm using right now. It's very good for what I use it for right now, but I definitely want to make upgrades so I can keep pushing the boundaries of my content. Because right now it's getting very difficult in low light situations. Like at MOG Atlanta, a lot of the open bracket stuff that we filmed was in low light, and it was very difficult color correcting it because of that. But hey, we're going to make an upgrade here relatively soon, hopefully. So we won't have that problem anymore. Christian says, how old are you? I am 21. I'll be 22 come mid-April, so relatively soon. So next question is coming from Dinkelberg, which actually you were in my stream earlier too. Shout out to you. He says, what was your favorite event to film at? Favorite event would be COD XP, because I was filming Elevate at the time. I used to work for Team Elevate, and like Bryce and all those guys, Bryce is a really good friend of like the TK fam, so he's always over at the house. And like Tyler and Naga and Yuli, all those guys, like those guys are the homies, and I got to film them get third place at that event, so they were super successful. I had a lot of access at that event, and then it was also the World Championship, my first World COD Champs, and there was a bunch of other stuff going on, like Infinite Warfare was, like the multiplayer reveal was that weekend, and as well as COD 4. I played a shit ton of COD 4 that weekend, so I'd probably say that was my favorite event. But as far as non-esports related event, my COD or I filmed a project with G Fuel and Logic over summer while he was on tour with Yo Gotti, G-Eazy, and YG for the Endless Summer Tour. And it was literally I'm a huge Logic fan. And I was, like, let's say I was where I was filming, my camera's where Logic was, and he was literally sitting there rapping right in front of my face. And it was literally the coolest thing ever. I was having, like, such a big fanboy moment, and that project turned out really good, too. G Fuel ended up loving it, and yeah, that's probably one of my favorite projects. Next up, we have Ray. He says, the first game you ever played, and he also said favorite TV series. First game I ever played would probably be CTR, Crash Team Racing, I believe. I was also, like, big into Spyro back in the day, like Ripto's Rage and all those games on PS1. So those were probably, like, the first games I played. And then as far as favorite TV series, I absolutely love The Flash. And actually all, like, the DC, like, shows. So we got that. Supergirl I've been getting into. Arrow's been good. The last couple seasons have been a little shaky, but I love the beginning of Arrow, and it ties in with Flash a lot, so I always love watching that. But I need to watch Legends of Tomorrow. So all you guys that watch DC superheroes, you guys are awesome, because I absolutely love that. And apparently Crispy watches Flash too, so I need to talk to him about that. Me and him, I talked to him on Twitter about it, but I didn't get to talk to him in person. So I'm excited that I'll actually have someone in the house to sit down and watch it with. And then actually there's one more question from Race. He says favorite movie. That's actually really hard. I really like Christopher Nolan stuff, so like Batman or like Dark Knight Rises, like the Batman movies are really good. I really like Inception, Django Unchained. I really like Leonardo DiCaprio as an actor. He always is absolutely amazing as in any role he does. So like a lot of his movies I really like. I like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That's another one on my list. I'd probably say those are probably like my top ones. Yeah, we'll go with those. Jason says, where did you learn your camera skills? I am completely self-taught. I use YouTube a little bit for some of my stuff, for like the basics, but everything I've learned for the most part has all been self-taught. And that's not just with camera equipment. That's with like computer stuff. I really didn't take a lot of classes in like high school or college for that. 3D animation, I took a class on it, but most of my stuff, like I did further through just like messing around, doing that kind of stuff, learning like Adobe Premiere Pro and Photoshop and all that kind of stuff, After Effects, that's all self-taught. So editing, videography, and a lot of the other stuff that I'm passionate about has all been self-taught. So yeah, usually when I actually find something that I absolutely love doing, I grind the shit out of it, and I usually get pretty good at it. Next up, we have Darkness. He says, are you going to be filming more for TK? And there's actually a couple people who are asking about this. He also said, are you going to be at the TK house again? Yeah, I'm actually going back, officially moving into the house, probably Wednesday. It's Saturday right now, so Wednesday, March 1st, that's what I'm aiming for right now. It might be a couple days later, who knows, but that's what I'm aiming for, and I'm moving in for the foreseeable future. So I'm actually going to be living there with the rest of the TK homies. So I'm really excited, and I have a lot of stuff in mind for you guys over the next couple weeks, months, and the next year for content. You guys are in for a treat. Next up, Lagged Out says, do you ever take multiple shots of something to get the cinematic just how you want it? Yes. Oh my God, yes. There's been times where I've taken a shot and it's literally been the first shot and I've gone, damn, that looks really good. And then sometimes I'll take a shot, be like, that looks like ass, do it again, that looks like ass, do it again, that looks like ass, and I'll like tweak it here and there. And it's taking me like probably like 10 times to get a shot sometimes. And even my camera, and this is actually another reason why I want to upgrade my camera. For some reason, my camera has had issues lately with its processor. I don't know if it's overheating or it's just too much pressure filming in 4K. But I'll be filming something and all of a sudden, like my hands will be completely smooth and all of a sudden it will like jerk. Like the image will like tweak out and it's completely out of my control. There's no way I can do that. So that's another reason why I want to upgrade my camera. But yeah, and sometimes that makes me redo it. Like it'll be a perfect cinematic and then it will mess up like that. So yes, I do take multiple shots sometimes. And sometimes I adjust my white balance as well. So I have like different takes that I can go through and try color correcting on top of, and sometimes it'll work better in a messed up white balance than what actually is white balance. It's kind of weird that like how I'm saying it, but sometimes it works better if I have a like different like cooked in image in the camera versus it just being like a normal image. Anyway, that was a really long rant for something that simple. Next up we have Robin. He said, how long did it take you to realize that TK is not TK? And he said it's a joke, because yesterday when I changed it to Roger TK, I did both capital TK. It took me about 12 hours because I posted it last night and then I woke up this morning and someone tweeted at me about it, and I like looked. I was like, oh, no way. And then I looked at literally everyone, like Justin Fuya, Teddy, Dylan, Theory, all like, or Dylan, Sharp, all those guys, and they all had lowercase t and then a capital T. And I was like, sheesh, that doesn't really look that good. So yeah, about 12 hours. Lag also said, are you enjoying your time with TK so far? I'm absolutely loving it. Those guys are constantly trying to create content, and they're like really funny dudes, like just to like chill and hang out with. You know, I constantly got Joey screaming, Teddy, you know, me and him play ping pong every day. Me and Ham constantly talk about content. Justin's always chill. We all get to hang out. Fuya is awesome to hang out with and have conversations with. Crispy, I haven't gotten to talk to a whole lot, sadly, just because when I first got there, he was sick. And then he was gone for a little while, so I'm sure I'll get to know him better. Chaos, I got to film content with him. I filmed his going to buy a new car video, which was awesome. So I absolutely love it at the TK house. Acute says, what is your current setup for videography? My current setup when I go to events, obviously I have my backpack with a bunch of gear in it, like a bunch of different lenses, and then even this laptop, or I used to have this laptop. This one's Justin's. That's an absolute beast, by the way. I've been doing a lot of editing on this. But usually I use my Samsung NX1. I use a Rode VideoMic Pro, which is this guy right here. It's out of batteries right now, which is why I'm not using it. I'm using this. So I got this. Actually, let me grab my bag. I usually have a couple batteries that I usually bring to events with me. I have this guy, which was my 85 millimeter 1.4, which is my baby. I absolutely love this thing. I have the lens, which is on right now, which is an 18 to 50 zoom lens, which is actually a Samsung lens, which has autofocus. Most of my lenses don't have autofocus. I have this guy, which both these are Rokinon lenses. This is a 12 millimeter 2.0. Which a lot of you guys are like, what the fuck is he talking about? But for all the camera nerds out there, this is what I shoot on. Literally every event I shoot is these two lenses right here. We have my Rokinon 80 or we got my Rokinon f2.0 12 mil, and then we got this guy, which is my 85 mil 1.4 right there. Which this thing's my baby. I filmed all the interviews for the Atlanta video on this guy. But the thing is, the thing that sucks, and not a lot of people realize, is I'm actually probably like 15 feet away from the people sitting in the chair because this zooms in so much. Or is zoomed in so much. Because you can't actually adjust the zoom because they are both prime lenses. So a lot of you probably just got really bored right there having me talk about camera shit. Next up, we have Alexander. He says, was it awkward filming for another team? I'm assuming you're talking about ESWC because I was actually filming Enigma 6 for that event instead of TK, which actually, funny thing, we actually ended up in the same bracket as them. So to get into pool play, Enigma 6 played Team Kaliber to get into pools. And Enigma 6 ended up beating us, which was kind of unfortunate. Good for them and good for me in a way, I guess you could say, because it made the story for my project that's going to be coming out for Paris a little bit more interesting because the team got a little farther. But it really sucked because obviously I want Goon, Happy, Dylan, and like those guys to be like super successful, because the better they do, not only do I want it for my own personal projects because it makes my projects more interesting, but those guys are all really good dudes and I want them to be super successful. So it was a little hard to see that, but it's not really awkward. I've gotten used to it, and they understand it's just business too, so they weren't like super awkward around me at all. Like we're gonna be homies at the end of the day, just the same as like when players talk shit to each other, they're still friends. It's just it's all in-game stuff. It's all business. It's nothing personal. So no, not really. And the last question we have from Alexis, he said, who taught you how to use your cameras and stuff, and who's your favorite movie director? Christopher Nolan. I like a lot of his stuff. Just the way he sets up his shots are like really nice, which I'm not sure if it's necessarily him or the cinematographer that he works with on the set, but for like a lot of the like Dark Knight Rises and like the way they use the lighting in that movie, I absolutely love it. So I'd say he's probably my favorite movie director. And then as far as answering the first part of that question, who taught me how to use my camera, I'm mostly self-taught for the most part. I talk to a lot of camera people, and I'm friends with a lot of camera people that go to events. So every once in a while, I'll pick people's brains at events, and we'll talk content and camera equipment and all that kind of stuff. But for the most part, I'm self-taught. Anyway, that is it for my Q&A today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I'm going to be at the TK house here in a couple of days now, less than a week. So you guys will be seeing me making content, all that kind of stuff. I have a lot planned for you guys. Me and Justin both have a lot planned for you guys going into the next couple weeks and the next couple months, as far as like MLG Dallas, the LAN League. Hopefully we qualify for that so we can bust out a bunch of content for that. But as well as some other stuff that's going to be more personality based, that's not along with the pro team. It's going to be more TK house generated content. So we have a lot of really cool stuff, and we're constantly thinking about more stuff. So you guys are going to see a good variety of stuff. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.